not even the real film. It's some mockbuster from the bargain bin.
What's wrong with how to rat-a-twang your panda?
You're winning, Panda. Use a secret weapon.
Okay, you asked for it.
You know, there seems to be so much variety in the world of animation. So many different ways to tell a story and so many different stories to be told. It truly is one of the things that makes animation so special. If you can draw it, you can tell it, which makes the options for storytelling almost limitless. Though there may be an unlimited amount of ideas to base a story on, it doesn't exactly mean that it'll be easy to write one. A blank sheet of paper can be really overwhelming and intimidating. So, many writers resort to taking notes from their inspirations and using them as the backbone for their own stories. Some borrow just enough and create something unique around their inspiration, and others do the equivalent of copying a friend's homework. Is where we get the term rip-off or knockoff, which pretty much means the writer took way too much from another writer's idea, and as a result, it can sometimes come off as a cheap imitation. But some can take a lot from another story and be seen as equal, if not better than the original. After all, imitation is the best form of flattery. For my own morbid curiosity, I will be searching, watching, and reviewing every knockoff I can get my hands on with the hope of finding the king of all knockoffs. This is only the first in what will be a series of videos on my channel, so feel free to comment any recommendations. I'm all ears. We're going to be reviewing 3 cartoons, and the first one we'll be talking about is Miracle Star. A show about... I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this show is about. I mean, I understand the premise, and that the 2 main characters are supposed to be our Gumball and Darwin. There's the same mixed media we get from Gumball and a lot of characters that are clearly just stolen from Gumball. I mean, there's taking a little inspiration, and then there's completely copying your friend's homework and not even trying to hide it. But it's strange really, because this is a Chinese series that was created for the purpose of selling milk. It's all just one big milk advertisement, yet they've produced like multiple 11-minute episodes with full voice acting and animation that admittedly doesn't look horrible. You would think a regular ad campaign would be enough, but Miracle Star took the approach of trying to create a franchise, and for that I say, who for exactly? I'm genuinely curious what Chinese people think of this series. The Amazing World of Gumball has never aired there, to my knowledge at least. So Gumball fans like myself can get some type of twisted enjoyment out of how unoriginal and weird this show is. But for those who have no clue what Gumball is, did you get any enjoyment out of this? Was it funny? Does the mixed media come off as off-putting? Did watching this make you want to drink milk? Because I just can't get a read off this. Besides the admittedly cool art direction and the blatant scene stealing, I just don't get anything else from this show. Nope, but the one thing this show did manage to give us was one of the funniest modern Cartoon Network moments ever.
Let's settle this in a civilized manner. Hi, my name is Gumball. Hi, my name is Chilla. Stop repeating everything I say! But when someone says hi, you say hi too!
When the creator found out about this masterpiece of a knockoff, he decided to take the high road and make a whole episode of Gumball dedicated to making fun of Miracle Star, and it was incredible. So I guess at the end of the day, this show did have a purpose outside of selling viewers dairy products. It gave us one of the most creative episodes of the Amazing World of Gumball series run, and we can all thank him for that, at the very least. Okay, so before working on this video, I had never seen an episode of Bluey. I heard a lot about this show. A lot about how it's captured the hearts of people young and old. So to prepare for this video, and to compare it to its knockoff that we'll talk about later, I decided to give the show a try. Holy cannolis is this show sweet. It's easy to see how so many people fell in love with it. Premise about parents, mostly their dad, trying to spend time with their children and teach them lessons along the way. It's that simple.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
It doesn't try to force anything onto you or beat you over the head with messages like a lot of other young children's cartoons do. In fact, a lot of the time Bluey will be the one running into a problem, or maybe even being the problem himself, and instead of being told what to do by his parents, they just let Bluey figure it out for himself. Whether it's sharing with their siblings, or playing a little bit too much, or even hurting someone's feelings, the show gives them the space to learn from their own mistakes. Plus, it's just really cute, but Chippy Chilla is a completely different story.
The moon landing is something I've always wanted to witness firsthand, and today I will, because you will be one of those astronauts. One of you will be the first to walk on the moon.
To the moon, Lois!
To the moon? What does that mean?
You know, to the moon.
Okay, you're threatening to punch me so hard I'm gonna fly to the moon? Like it's funny to hit me so violently my body will fly out of the atmosphere.
Chip Chilla takes what Bluey is and tries to squeeze their creators' opinions into it, which leads to them having completely different morals than Bluey. And added another child because why not, I guess. Even the art style was changed from what the original art style was, just to try and replicate and steal some of Bluey's fanbase.
You know what? I'd say it's a hit. I knew they'd like it. Really? They love it! Looks pretty fun. Let me get in on that.
That's not to say this show is absolutely terrible, because to be completely honest, it isn't. If I walked past the television and this show was playing, I wouldn't really pay much mind to it. There's nothing that really grabs me. I'm gonna say it would be the same case for Bluey, but clearly it wasn't. Bluey grabbed the attention of all sorts of demographics. It resonated with people and so many people find it relatable. The graphic was young children, yet it became a cultural phenomenon in all animation circles. Let's face it, in a world without Bluey, Chip Chilla would just drown in a puddle of his own insignificance. Again, if I'm judging it by just what I'm seeing, it isn't that bad. Keep in mind, I didn't watch that many episodes. I couldn't stomach that many episodes, but Brazen Animation did a fine job with making it look like it belongs on Disney Junior, and I'm sure kids could find enjoyment out of it. The problem for me isn't necessarily the show itself, but instead the idea behind creating the show. I don't mean to sound like Bluey's #1 fan or anything, but the show is very open-minded. It wants to present or make you aware of problems and then let you find your own opinions and solutions about it. Telling you who to be is just presenting you with obstacles and asking you to find your way through them. Chilla's, on the other hand, wants nothing more than to push the producer's ideologies onto you. Made to limit your options and redirect any opinions that you could have into ignorance or naivety.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I regret voting for the other guy.
What was that?
Made to limit your options and redirect any opinions that you could have into ignorance or naivety. This show was created to keep you in a box instead of exploring what's outside of it, and that's the problem with it. Not the show itself, but how the producer's intentions are to limit you. That, and it's just a complete rehash of Bluey, and there isn't really anything creative outside of that. That being said, before I move on, I will say some of the animation gags made me chuckle. So, yeah, the show isn't actually that bad. It's kinda decent, but its reason for existing doesn't do it any favors. And for kids whose minds are still developing, I think they deserve shows that allow them to continue doing so, and not try to keep them inside of a box. The final show we will be talking about in this video is a Chinese animated web series named The Legend of Lucky Pie. Created in January of 2015 as a way for new animators to have some practice and learn new animation techniques. Word of this quote-unquote knockoff got around quickly, extremely fast, because of what it was so blatantly taking inspiration from. Of course, being Adventure Time, and if you didn't know about this show, which of course you do, the words can't explain how iconic it is.
That's yourself, fool!
What are you bozos doing in my lair?
Dude, I think she sees us.
What the? Dude, you shape changed to look like me?
Adventure Time was and still is a mega phenomenon. It is easily the show that gets the most love from Cartoon Network. And yes, I said love. Total Dramarama was not love, it's just a kick in both balls. But Adventure Time is one of the only shows that still gets treatment from the network until this day, with its latest spin-off being Fiona and Cage, which was incredible. Absolutely incredible. So it's no surprise that a show trying to copy the success will garner some attention. On the surface, it may be just another clone of a popular cartoon, but once you actually watch it, you see it's something completely different. I never thought I'd say this about a knockoff, but The Legend of Lucky Pie is amazing. It just oozes charm and surprisingly manages to feel so warm and unique despite taking a lot from Adventure Time. This show is one of those very rare moments in knockoffs where the knockoff doesn't just take from the original show like some crappy kid who contributes nothing to a group project. It's elements from Adventure Time and makes them their own. Lucky is pretty much supposed to be Jake. Their powers are the same and their best friend is the main character. But he's almost nothing like them. Their mannerisms are almost completely different and the relationship they have with their friends are too. It's like looking into another universe. The group who worked on this weren't just trying to cash in on Adventure Time's popularity. You can tell they genuinely cared about this project and did as much as they could to offer something new to something that was already there. And the time they spent composing such beautiful music to fit this world really ties everything together so perfectly. It's just a guy and his horse who want to do good by people, but their naivety causes them to cause even more problems that they ultimately end up fixing. I know that sounds familiar, but I genuinely don't think I can recommend a knockoff enough. It's totally worth the watch, 100%. Just something to be said about passion projects, such as this one, and how even though the idea wasn't necessarily their own, it doesn't mean that they didn't have something special to add to it. That's not to say that this show is better than Adventure Time, because it is not. But unlike the others on this list, I can actually see this show as its own thing. And for a web cartoon with this much love put into it, that says a lot. So definitely check it out. All the episodes are on YouTube. I recommend watching with subtitles, but either way is fine. But in my quest to find the very best animated ripoff, I'm not sure The Legend of Lucky Pie will ever be beaten. It might, but I guess that's something we're going to have to figure out in the next animated ripoff video. So thank you so much for watching.